you have to remember that, like, let's say somebody goes to Facebook where I've posted this. If they come from the link that I posted on Facebook and they come to Kickstarter and they buy, then hi guys, Will Terry here, and this video is going to be called Looking in the Back Office of My Kickstarter. And guess what? My Kickstarter is funded. Woo! So yeah, I'm going to talk about a lot of different things in this video. This is actually the second one in the series, in the playlist. The first one was the one where I interviewed Mel Milton again, because he's going to be launching a Kickstarter. And as usual, you guys can draw. I am going to be showing stuff on the screen, however, so if you want to see what I'm doing, you might want to look up every now and then. But anyway, I'm just going to go through and talk a lot about strategies. I'm going to show you my stats. You know that I love doing that. I love, one of the things that's frustrating to me is when people are vague and they don't give you numbers. I try to give you as much information as I possibly can. I try not to hold back anything unless I feel like it will either hurt me or hurt someone else. But I mean, I can't really think of anything that will hurt me. So I'm just going to give you everything I can. Okay, so let's look at some stuff. I think what we're going to do is look first at Kickstarter. And so you can see here, let's see, we're going to look at stats and strategies. So I've got this stuff written down, but I don't know exactly what I'm talking about there. Let's just look at the website first. So Kickstarter, if you've been living on Mars, you might not know what Kickstarter is. It's a crowdfunding site. So basically, if you have a project that you want to launch, in general, like I have had people that didn't know what Kickstarter was, and the way I describe it is, normally if you want to make a book or if you want to make a game or a video or something for money, that you're going to sell this book or this game or whatever your project is, a card set, you would have to make the artwork, write the story, do everything, and then you would have to go to a printer and pay a whole bunch of money to get it, and then you would have to try to sell it on your own. The really cool thing about a Kickstarter or any other crowdfunding site is that you can actually tell people what you're going to do. You can sell the product before you actually make it. You can take the people who have bought your product, take their money, and then you go give it to the printer after you've collected your orders. And that's something that the internet has given us, this new way of and the beauty of it is that artists can now be the entrepreneur using a site like this very easily. It's given us the tools to be able to actually get something done, whereas before, most people don't have thousands and thousands of dollars to go make a book. So in the past, you couldn't do that. This is a revolutionary time. So if I go to Kickstarter, I'm going to show you my project. If I go to Discover, then what it does is it gives us all these different projects here. And I put my project in comics. I thought about putting it in art. I don't think it fit anywhere else. But I had a choice between the two. Art had more projects, so I thought, well, there's probably more competition there. But more so than that, I thought, 190 projects here over in comics, but I thought that my project just fits better there because it's got comic book characters in it and movie characters, and I feel like it's probably better. More people will probably be searching for something like that. And look at this. They've got my project as the featured project, the one featured project in comics. So that's pretty cool. If I hit refresh, see, it's still there. That just happened today. You can see that it's 130% funded because I asked for less than this. I've got 24 days to go. They also put it in new and noteworthy, and it's number 5 in new and noteworthy. And then let's go back. Oops, I went too far. Go back to comics. And then if we go to what's popular, It was in there. It's been bumping around. It moves around. So that's pretty cool. It might be a good time to talk about the fact that these all work on algorithms. So your project will bounce around in these slots based on how many sales you're getting in the time frequency. So, it's a lot better to get more sales in a shorter period of time than to get the same amount of sales spread out over time. And so if you go down through, you can see more of what's popular. And this is just basically an order of what's selling the most at this particular time. Again, it's constantly refreshing and constantly updating. So it will constantly grab more projects. But as you go down, it just means that they're just not selling as well for whatever reason. Let's see what's next. I wanted to let's just go into my project, and I wanted to say, I had a goal of 11,500, and so right now it's sitting at 14,900 with 24 days to go. So I still have some good time to make some more money. And I also wanted to talk about the so it's really good. So here's what my problem, why I'm studying over my words so much. I made this video 2 hours ago, but I forgot to turn on the screen recording software. So everything flowed, and now I'm trying to not leave anything out because I felt like I did a pretty good job. So I'm sorry. But I'm trying to not leave anything out. Anyway, the hazards of making videos for YouTube, right? Late at night. Okay, so the thing about Kickstarter is I thought that the most important thing is that you could get up on the front pages of your different section, right? So if you go to Kickstarter, the main page, the very front, they have projects we love, and they have recommended for you, and then they have what's popular. So if I click on what's popular and see all, my little video is not going to be anywhere near the top because this is all the projects on Kickstarter. I might be towards the top in my category, but this is everything out here right now. And if we scroll down, eventually we will hit my project, but you can see people probably aren't going to scroll. So there it is right there. It's probably 100 down. I don't know if people are going to scroll down and see that. But one of the things that I thought early on was that if you get featured like this, your sales are just going to skyrocket because there's just tons of people on Kickstarter shopping. And I've been told that that's not the case, which I think this is good information to know about. I've been told that don't expect more, even if you get featured, don't expect more than about 25% of your sales to come from Kickstarter itself. And if we go again into the project, I get a little tab over here that you wouldn't be able to see because I'm logged in with my project. But they'll give you a dashboard right here, and you can actually see, they'll give you charts and graphs and stuff, and you can see your sales. And right here they say these are people, the money that came from Kickstarter, and these are the money that came from external referrals. Now I think that's a little misleading because that's definitely more than 25% from Kickstarter. But you have to remember that, let's say somebody goes to Facebook where I've posted this. If they come from the link that I posted on Facebook and they come to Kickstarter and they buy, then they're going to be counted in this number. But if I post a link on Facebook and then a person goes to see my Kickstarter from Facebook and they go, oh, this looks cool, I'm going to buy it. But maybe they haven't gotten paid yet, or maybe they have to ask their spouse, or for who knows what reason, they don't buy right then. Maybe they have to think about it a little bit. If they go back to Kickstarter and search for my project called Little, then they're going to be counted as a pledged via Kickstarter. So that's why I don't know if that's totally accurate. You get a lot of other stats, and then if I went further, this tells you where your referrals are coming from, Twitter and and stuff like that, Instagram. But if I go further, I'll actually be going down into showing you names of people who backed my project, and I don't think that would be fair to them to actually have their names out in this video. There's other stats in here too, but basically this shows you, this was my funding goal right here. The kind of the trend is where it was steep in the beginning and leveling off, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. So that means if only 25% of your people, or 30 or whatever, are coming from Kickstarter, it really means that you have to bring people to the table. You have to bring people to your project. And let's see, I'm going to go back to my project. I don't know how to do that. So I might just go back out. Let's see if I hit back. Oh, there we go. Okay. Well, let's go back out to comics again, because I think this is really important. If you went to, if you just went to see all of the projects in Popular, you're going to eventually go to the bottom. If you keep clicking down and seeing more and more, you'll get to, there was 190, and so they're all going to be in order, right? But one thing that you're going to notice is if you get closer to the bottom, you're going to start seeing more and more projects that aren't funding the further you go down. And I think we're starting to get there. I don't want to call anybody out and draw attention to anyone in particular, but if you see something, if you start seeing these progression bars that aren't going all the way across, you'll start seeing more and more of those, I guess is what I'm saying. And part of the problem I think that happens is a lot of people don't understand what Kickstarter is about and how to use it. And so I think some people think it's like a fishing trip, right? Where you just kind of put you put your project out there and then hope that it funds. That just won't work. So the reason I'm saying this is to hopefully save you a bunch of headache. You can see we're getting down to the bottom there, and I think that's the last one. See, this is comics in my town, so there's only one project that's live that's from my town in Orem, Utah. But what happens is I think people don't realize that they have to bring an audience to Kickstarter to get it going, and the only way you're going to get love from the site itself, to get featured or to get a new and noteworthy, is to bring sales, because Kickstarter makes money off of the projects that fund. They don't make any money off the ones that don't fund. So if you're not already starting to show signs of life, they don't want to put you on a featured list because they probably don't think that they can actually get you all the way funded. And if they use that spot for a project that's not going to fund, they're wasting it on that when they really could be marketing someone's that's going to make more money. So anyway, I think it's really important to kind of understand how Kickstarter works, and really what you should be doing to learn the most is to go and look at those projects that don't have any backers and they've only got, they're halfway through their Kickstarter or something. And you can learn more from looking at those. I looked at tons of those to try to identify what are they doing wrong so that you don't do the same thing, right? I mean, you can look at the projects that are doing really well all day long, and that'll just pump you up. And what it starts to do is it messes with your mind. You start thinking, well, I'm going to make that kind of money. And what you're not understanding is all the things that are probably going into it. So look at all those. I have a note here that I just wanted to ask you guys. Somehow it fit into the other video perfectly. It segued in, but the one that I screwed up. But I would love to know if you found my Kickstarter, not from this video, but if you found it from the other one. I'd love to know if you went from there or if you found it on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. Okay, just a curiosity, because I read the comments. So another thing to keep in mind is that it's super important to get as many sales as you can on the first day. So when you launch, when you pull the trigger, and it's nerve-wracking when you do it. One of my strategies was to launch during the week. I looked at the dates. I wanted to start in the middle of the week or during the week, not on the weekend, because I feel like people are out, especially at springtime now. People are out doing stuff, but maybe during the week they're more focused and they might actually see your stuff. I don't know if that's true or not, but I wanted to start, and I started on a Monday, which means I'll end on a Wednesday because I'm doing 30 days. And by the way, that's recommended to do a 30-day campaign. A lot of people, you'll see them do more than that, and it really doesn't help you. And Kickstarter has run all these reports, and they say 30 days is typically the best time to do it. You don't really want to do it longer than that. There's a lot of emails and things, and plus you have to spend a lot of time marketing during the whole Kickstarter. So to drag it out, it doesn't really make more money, and it's kind of a sign. You'll actually see more projects. The longer ones usually are usually the more amateur ones, where people think, well, if I just run it longer, I'll get more money, when that's not true. You usually keep people's attention for maybe 30 days with announcements and stuff, but even your backers, they're going to want it to end so that you can get on with the project. So yeah, you want to get your sales on the first day, because that will help boost you up, and then you really can get a new and noteworthy. And I don't know if there's an algorithm that's picking people for this, but these are the ones that they've put in that category, and it looks like there's about 18 of them. But if you get in there and people are searching through comics, they're probably going to see that. So that does actually help. If you probably will get some sales, maybe 25% more sales from being in there. And also you'll be on what's popular. You'll be able to be seen on what's popular. See, I was just at number 6 spot, and now I've moved down to number 7. So I just lost a spot, so anyway, there's that. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. Let's look at my project again, because I'm going to show you some of the decisions that I made. My video, some people don't make a video. That's one thing you'll see in the bad ones as well, is no video. And the video is the thing that makes it personal. And when you do see videos, sometimes I've seen videos where they just put like images and music and words that you have to read, but there's no audio, there's no spoken word or anything, there's no voice, or there's no video of the person that's pitching. I think that's a huge missed opportunity. The thing is, people fall in love with stories. They could back a lot of different projects. They could spend their money on a lot of different things. I think your project has to be that much better if you're not going to sell yourself in your video. In other words, if you're not, so I think you need to make your case for your video, and you're saying, look, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I want to make, but I need help to make it. I can't afford this on my own. Now, you're not begging. You're just saying, this is my dream, and I can't do it without it. But when people just put like, their artwork up there and music, and then like they write it out because they're afraid to get on video, I guess. I don't know. Like, this is my Kickstarter. I need money. This is the project. And so you're reading it. It doesn't pull you in emotionally. Usually, I'm not going to say that you can't make a video like that could be awesome, but the ones I've seen, they leave you wanting. And I would say in general, they probably bring in less money. So even if you're not good in front of the camera, I would say, just go for it and just say, look, and just be honest and be real. People, even if you're nervous, people can tell, and they might even want to back you more if they can tell that you really care about the thing you're doing. The things you shouldn't do is beg for money. And, I've seen videos where people are like, please, 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 please send me money. I need money. That's a turn off. What you really want to just do is just be honest, be upfront, be transparent, and say, I want to make this thing. So I'm going to click on my video here.
My name's Will Terry, and I'm going to make a book called Little.
So let's see. If I'm down in the corner, then the video's up here.
Drawing all the time. I got horrible.
I hope it is, or I'll look stupid. So anyway, my videos telling people about my life. And so the things that I basically put in there that I think were important is it's about me. I tell what I've been doing, which is being a children's book illustrator and drawing my whole life. Then I tell them about the project, what I've been trying to do with these little fan art characters. I talked about how I didn't really start out to make a book. I was just drawing these characters for fun, and it became an obsession. And then I started selling them at Comic-Con, and then boom, now I want to make this book because that's the next logical process to have this nice little book. I tell them why I need the money, basically to buy the book. And then I threw in one other thing, which was totally transparent and honest, which is I get a kick out of when people are looking at the characters at if I'm in a show and they're trying to guess which characters they are, because they're conceptual, and because they're drawn as kids, you don't really know exactly who's who until you investigate a little bit. So I threw that in there. I said I envision when I get the book, people coming over the house and looking at it and trying to figure out if they can guess all 100 characters. And that hopefully puts the idea into their minds of, I would like to do that too. I don't know if that will happen and cause people to want to buy it more, but I don't think it hurts to tell people how you plan on using it, so that they might get the same vision. And then I did a mock-up of the book. And so you can see, and I put that at the end of the video, and I just basically said, if you like this project, share it with a friend, and that's about it on the video. Again, you can watch that if you go to Kickstarter and search Little. This is not the real book. The book has not been made. This is a book that I got off of Google, and it had an image on it, but it was a white book, and I was easily able to just erase the image on it. It was also a taller book, and I just scrunched it down through the magic of Photoshop, and then put one of my characters on there, and then found a piece of furniture and cut parts of it out, and got this another photograph, and then mocked that up, and that hopefully that makes it look a little more like you can envision it in your home, to try to plant that. That was actually Jake Parker and Jed Henry's idea. They've been kind of mentoring me through this process. And then I also did a mock-up for the soft cover. And so that's kind of, I think that's really important to put these little rewards over here in picture form so people can actually see what they're getting. That's another mistake I see some of the people making on Kickstarter is they just fill out this side over here. And by the way, it's so easy to do when you go in. I'll just go into Edit Project right now and just show you that this is when you're in your back office. You can click on these different tabs, and there's the rewards tab, and I can go in and edit these. And that's where you basically just fill out your information in here. And then, so this is the shipping information over here and the price of the book and stuff like that. And then story, this is where you go in and upload your images. So I just made JPEG images in Photoshop and just uploaded those. So it's really easy to set one of these up. You just get on their website and do it. There's some basic other information and stuff. And then I'll just go back out here to the project. So yeah, different reward pledges. I came up with the $10. I'll give you a little idea on my prices. Kickstarter kind of gets a bad rap in some ways in that a lot of people, I feel, overcharge on their rewards. And I've talked to some other people, and they really feel like, yeah, it's becoming a joke. Sometimes people will sell a soft cover book for like $40 or $35, and my problem with that is if I go to a convention and I want to sell the books, because I plan on ordering more books than I'm gonna sell on the Kickstarter, so that I can take them to conventions and sell them. And one of my problems with overcharging on the Kickstarter is I think you really should price it like, what can I sell this book for at a convention? What are people really going to want to pay for a softcover book? And I think $20 to $25 is all you're going to get out of them. So if you're selling your softcover for $35 or $40 on Kickstarter, you're really punishing the people who are actually helping you launch the book, right? And I would hate to have one of my backers come to a convention and go, I paid $35 or for your soft cover, and now it's $20 here. Ugh, I should have waited. I don't want to face that. So I really tried to price things so that they are the same price. Now they do get it earlier, and they did get it before. They ensured that they got it before it sold out. So maybe you could make a case for that. So yeah, I tried to price my book as low as I could and still be able to make a little bit of profit on it. Get a deal for the friendship set. Get $35 for the hardcover. And then I started adding prints because I've been making these prints for the conventions, so it was kind of an easy idea to put those in there. I also had another thing that a lot of people do is early bird specials. So I did 50 of those. They're sold out now, but I did 50 of those at $30 for the hardcover, just to really help to stimulate sales on the first day, to get people to jump in and get it going so that the pledges start going up. And that really kind of helps other people have confidence. I think when sales start happening quicker, other people go, okay, I'm not an idiot for being the first one to back this thing. There's a bunch of people jumping in, and there's only 15 left of the hardcover. I better get it now. And so that really kind of forces sales, and I think that's a smart thing to do. I put together some other packages, like with my big 18 by 24 poster for the Startacular set, and 3 books for the holiday gift set. I'm thinking about this book's going to come out probably in September is when my estimated ship date is. Well, the holidays are just around the corner, so I really wanted people to be able to order these and hopefully think about, giving them away as Christmas gifts. I also came up with the collector set, which is all the 8x10 prints and the poster. And then, of course, the Excalibur package, because that was actually a bucket list item of mine. I love the sound of the Excalibur package because it's really kitschy and it's stupid. And it's just something that I've always wanted to offer for no other reason than to just be able to say, you can get the Excalibur package. And so anyway, I did that. Check. It's checked off the list. I also did some original art for $350. I'll draw your character, and I just did 5 of those, and they're all gone. I didn't want to do more than that. You can go back in and offer more if something sells out, but I need my time to work on other projects and stuff, so I just didn't have time to do more than that. And then I put artwork down here at the bottom so that people could actually see what's going into the book. It's going to be basically a white and black and red book. So there's going to be red accent colors on some of the characters, but not all. So, some of them are just going to be black and white. But when the color makes sense, that's kind of my rule. If I need the color to really bring out the character, or if I need the color to bring out the concept. So I'll give you a hint. I'm going to be doing a character from The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy, and of course she had the red slippers. So in my character, I haven't done it yet, but it'll be coming out probably in next week. And she's going to be opening up a box of new cute little red sneakers, like Pro Keds or something like that, which I thought would be kind of fun and would kind of easily say Dorothy, especially if they're the only red thing in the picture. So that's kind of my my Kickstarter and rewards. I don't know if there's anything else on that. So there's that. And then, for some reason I did a failed Kickstarter. Maybe I should just mention that really quickly. I think one of the reasons, my first Kickstarter 4 years ago, I did mention this in the other video, so I'll just be really brief. The reason it failed was because I tried to sell an app, a story app, and people just do not buy apps. They don't spend money on app. So that was a problem. And I think it's really important for you to think about your project in terms of, is this something that you would buy? Is this something that someone else would buy, right? And I tried to tell myself, I was being dumb. I was telling myself what I wanted to hear, not reality. And I knew that people weren't spending $10 on an app, but that's what I was charging. And it was really naive to think that people wouldn't go, well, when the app comes out, it's going to be $2 or $3 or something. And so anyway, that's the biggest reason why that one failed, I think. But this one, I think, is people understood, hey, it's a book and you got to spend money on a book. Okay, so I want to let's talk about shipping and printing costs versus Amazon. So, one of the things, and I don't know, I'm going to talk about this at the same time. So, just so you know, I have an $11,500 goal, but I'm going to come clean and tell you that if my project had funded for $11,500, there's no way that I could have paid for everything without coming up with money out of my pocket. How do I know this? Because I know what my expenses are, because I've already got my quote from my printer. I've already got a quote on what shipping is, and I've already got a quote on what the designer is going to cost, because I'm not going to design the book myself. I want it to look really nice. So I hired a really good designer, and she costs, she's going to charge me a pretty good, decent amount. And I'm not going to switch. So if somebody offers to do it for less and wants to bid and stuff, I just feel that would be unethical to switch. But one, I'm not a designer. I'm not a graphic designer. And I don't want my book to look amateurish. I want it to really, there's going to be a lot more stuff in the front and in the back. I'm doing 100 characters, but I'm going to be doing like extra pages in there, like process on how I made the art with, and materials and things like that. Also like failed ideas, and a bunch of other little tidbits from the actual making of it. Also a lot of dedications and, probably a forward and acknowledgments and all that stuff. And all that stuff, I just want it to look really good. I want the chapters to look really good. And I didn't want to spend the time, and I didn't want to do it wrong. So that's a cost. I also am, with those costs and also figuring on shipping, and even though the shipping is extra, just so you know, FYI, this price right here is including the shipping in there, right? So let's just walk it back. If I get my actual break-even point is roughly $17,000. So I haven't even gotten there yet. I'm pretty close now, obviously. I only need $2,000 more. But at $17,000, Kickstarter will take about 10%. So they're going to take $1,700 right off the top. So they're going to send me $15,300. And with that, again, my books are going to cost about $6,500-$7,000. The designer, again, I said was pretty expensive. I don't really want to tell you how much she is, but I think it was a little bit on the high end, but I think she's worth it. And then I've got to buy all the shipping materials, and I've got to pay for postage. Now, one thing that happens on Kickstarter is people often complain about how much you're charging for shipping. And I don't begrudge them for complaining, because what's happened is Amazon and a lot of other big companies have conditioned us to what we think shipping should cost. But you have to keep in mind, Amazon's getting the best rates on shipping because of how much they ship. So that when they use the U.S. Postal Service or FedEx or whatever they're using, UPS, they're getting a different rate than we are, right? So we're going to pay top dollar because we don't have indicia, we don't have the bulk permits, we don't have we're not sending out the volume that they send out, so we don't get a volume discount. There's other things, sorting. There's a lot of protocols that the Postal Service makes you go through, sorting by zip code, and you have to go through all kinds of stuff to actually qualify. And if you don't follow all the rules, barcodes and stuff like that, your price gets bumped up. Then same thing on shipping materials. If I order my shipping supplies, I'm going to pay a lot more than Amazon pays for theirs. So that's another reason why shipping is so much more. And again, in the last video, I told you about a guy who raised about $85,000 on Kickstarter and only profited $1,000 because he didn't charge enough for shipping. Didn't know how much it was going to cost, and probably just winged it and put it out there and really paid a heavy price, because at the end of the day, you have to come through. You've got to be able to ship these things out. So I think it's $17,000. There's about $500 wiggle room in there in case I was wrong on something. I have also heard that sometimes right at the end, people will cancel their order. And so sometimes, like you might be, let's say your goal is you really want to get to $30,000, and at the end of the funding, you might have hit 30, but it might bump down to 29 or something because people might cancel their orders. I don't know if that's true. I haven't been through this process because, like I said, my first Kickstarter failed. So anyway, so I have no question that in 24 days I'll make my break-even point. And then after that, there'll be, some profit in it. I'll still have shipping costs for every order after that, but I won't have the production costs. That'll be covered in the $17,000. So I'm looking forward to getting past that and hopefully making a little bit of money. Let's see what else here. Let's see. We went through that. Did that. Okay. So here's some other things that I did. Some other strategy things. If you're doing a Kickstarter, you want to be able to you want to be able to drive as much traffic as you can. So you want to use all the resources you can. So if you have a website, I have willterry.com, and what I did was my brother-in-law is actually my developer on this site, and so I came up with this idea to put a banner ad that comes in, but that you can click out of it. So if I click here, it'll take me out to my Kickstarter, right? But and then it's disappeared. Let's see if I refresh. Oh, that's interesting. So he's made it so that it doesn't come back, which is cool, because you don't really want that banner coming back every time. But there it is again. But I can click out of it, and then I'm just into my portfolio right here. So I did that. Don't know if that will drive a ton of traffic, but it's nice to know that, there's a little thing you can do. I also have on my blog, I put a little ad for it there, even though I stopped blogging, as I just didn't have time to do the blogging and the YouTube channel. So I chose YouTube because I just felt like I had more reach on YouTube and could do more good. But still, went back because I still get a lot of traffic on this blog. Google still crawls it, and there's still a lot of hits if I look at my analytics on Google. So it was fun while it lasted, but I don't do that anymore. And let's see what else. Okay, so let's look at something else, because I wanted to show you KickTrack. Okay, so KickTrack is a independent website. It doesn't have anything to do with Kickstarter, but you can find projects out here. So if I go to Will Terry and Little in the search bar, then it should bring it up. So there it is right there. Boom. So they pull the stats. So they already know what my numbers are. They know what my goal was, and they'll tell me what it's trending towards, right? And then they give you little stats and stat bars here. So you can see right here it says it's funded. It's got my first update on there. And then it gives you these graphs. Now this one I don't think is all that helpful, and I don't think that this trending line is very helpful on this one. I think it's kind of dumb. Basically, they're taking into consideration the growth from your first day, and then they're saying, well, if if the trend is that it's going to make 66,000, it's not going to get there. I can guarantee you that, unless something really weird happens, like some site found it and started, a big comic book site or something started blogging about it or talking about it. But there's no way it's going to get up there the way that it's been going. But what's more interesting, I think, is this daily data. And so you can see right here, now this day just started, so we really can't count that yet, because this one just ended right here. You can see the first day it made $6,000. The second day it made $3,700, and then it keeps dropping off $1,400, and then $1,000, and then $900, and then today, I still call it today because I'm still up, but it is really tomorrow because it's 1:30 in the morning. Why am I still up? Oh yeah, that's right, because I recorded this video already. But this little bump right here, I don't know if it's because it was Saturday and more people are at home on Saturday, or if it's because I got featured, because that's when I got featured today. So maybe it's because of that. There's a little bit of a spike there. But this trend, when I saw this, I was really disappointed. And I thought, oh, it's just going to die out. And that means it's not going to be a really good project like some that, continue to fund. And I thought, well, maybe it's all over right now. So I was talking to Jake Parker, and he says, no, take a look at any of the good projects on Kickstarter. So here's Jed Henry's Yu-Gi-Oh! Heroes. I got to pull this one up because it's just so amazing. And, in my mind, I thought, because I was watching this one fun. This was like 3 or 4 years ago when he did this. I thought, well, his just was selling all the time. But guess what? If you look at his daily data, look at that. He does the same thing. And in fact, Jake said, yeah, almost every Kickstarter, they have this middle section they call the doldrums. And I guess what the psyche is, as you launch it, it's exciting. The people that are early adopters jump in, and, it gets going. And then it kind of just falls off. The excitement of it being new is gone. And now's where you go into the grind, and you have to have stuff to announce and stuff to talk about. And that's the hard thing on a Kickstarter, is to have something fresh to talk about. And then at the end, I think what happens at the end, and Jake said, you'll get a spike at the end like this too, is you start saying, well, it's going to be over in a day. It's going to be over in 2 days. It's going to be over today. We've only got 2 hours left. There's only, 15 minutes left. And so people start having fear of loss, like, well, maybe I won't ever be able to get one of these again because they might be sold out, which is very true. People sell out of their books and they're not going to do another print run typically. So I think that explains that right there. So let me tell you another thing is my strategy on actually being able to talk about it during the doldrums, because I knew that was the hard part. I didn't know that the graph went like this, but I knew that people talk about the middle being the hardest part. So what I did was, and this is my Instagram here, let's see right here, and so you can see I'm posting these characters, and this one was today, but I want to show you something, and that is that down here I'm posting these characters every week. I'm posting a couple of characters, and then I get up to here and I stop and I start doing other posts. These aren't in the book. Now this one was because I got stickers, so it was something to talk about. So I put that on Instagram, but these pictures aren't, I did a video, so I grabbed that, but then these are from Comic-Con. And then still no more updates on these characters. Well, I'm still drawing them, but I wasn't posting them. I was sandbagging. I was holding them back so that I could release them during the Kickstarter. So that was one of my strategies, was to make sure that I had stuff to talk about. So here's Mel. I made fun of him. Maleficent. So then the first one, I had done this little Rapunzel character about a month ago, but I just released it this week for the Kickstarter because I had held it back. So that's just a strategy that I used. I don't know if that's the best strategy, but I think it's going to work, because you can't really get on social media and go, hey, I still have a Kickstarter, and then the next day, like, don't forget my Kickstarter, and then the next day, like, please make sure you know about my Kickstarter. It's like, people are going to unfollow you if you do that. Social media is all about having important and relevant information, stuff that people want. And so if they're already responding to your artwork, that's a good sign that that's what you need to do during your Kickstarter, is to constantly be releasing new content. So anyway, did a couple of these. This one actually I released today, and it got a real mixed response. It was, I don't know if you know who it is. If you can figure it out, I'm not going to tell you. But my wife did not like this one because, it's a dead kid. And but I think it fit the body of work. And, when I actually did it, I was really leery about posting it, which meant I had to do it, because I really believe as an artist, in order to be relevant, in order to be successful, you have to take risks. You have to, if something feels wrong, a lot of times that's an indication that that's exactly the thing that you should be doing. If you're always playing it safe, it's going to be easy to ignore what you're doing. And I think as artists, we need to push boundaries. So I included this one in there. I don't really know if some people are going to, hate that it's part of their book. I think more people are comfortable with Hagrid here, even though it did create a conversation about, well, why does Hagrid have a beard? Because if he's a kid, and that was a really tough one, because is Hagrid without the beard? And then some people suggested, well, maybe it could be a fake beard, that you wear with a string. I actually might try to do that. Another thing that I did is, you really want to create conversations when you're marketing. So I had done this idea for King Kong, and you've got the little boat and the little palm trees to show scale, and he's got the bananas. But then my son came up with this idea on the right. So what did I do? I said, which one would you put in my book project? And then I also on Facebook I did the same thing, and on Twitter, but I put the link on there. And people love to answer. I got get a lot of responses, a lot of discussion. So if you can do that, I think that's really good. And the last thing is, my advice to you is that if you have a Kickstarter that you want to launch, I think the best thing you can do is start to be regularly sharing what you're doing, unless it's something that has to be revealed all at once. And I don't know why you would have to do that, but maybe it is. Maybe you're worried that someone else is going to beat you to market or something. But if it's something that you can share, like a project like this, I think that's so important, because I can already tell you which characters people like and which ones they don't like as much. And I've left some out because people didn't care about them or people didn't like them. And so I think it's super important to test out your whatever it is you're making on social media before you launch. And they're going to tell you whether you have something good at all. If you're putting artwork on social media and you plan on doing a Kickstarter and you're not getting any likes, you're not getting any comments, and nobody really seems to care, you can probably save yourself a lot of time, effort, and money by not launching that Kickstarter. Likewise, one of the suggestions that Jake Parker has for people, I don't know if his number's right, but I know that the principle is right, is he says, if you're thinking about launching a Kickstarter and you're not sure, make a fan page on Facebook for your project, and then invite people to like it and share it and start sharing the artwork there. If you can't, and his thing is, if you can't get 1,000 likes on Facebook, that's an indication that you probably shouldn't do your job. I don't know if you need 1,000 likes, and I don't know what time frame that is. How long does it take to get 1,000 likes? And you certainly don't want to buy those likes. But if people, I think the idea is if people won't click on a button for free, why do you think that they will spend their hard-earned money on the thing that you're offering? But at the same time, I totally believe that learning, you will learn better lessons when you fail because they're painful and you don't want to do them again. So, I did a lot more homework before this Kickstarter than I did on the first one. I really wanted this one to fund. I wanted to make sure that it funded. And so I did a lot of things to ensure that. There was actually one other thing that I want to talk about, and that was that I got hit up by about a dozen so far companies that want to market my project, and they come at you via email right after you launch your Kickstarter, and some of them seem like really like form letters. Others seem more legit. I've tried reading to figure out, they say for money, anywhere from $100 to $300 or $400 or $500, they'll market your Kickstarter for you. And I've seen a lot of reviews where people say it didn't work, or it seems like they're fishing, and then I've heard from someone else that some of them are really legitimate, while some of them are really kind of scammy. I just think in the end, you really shouldn't have to. What are they going to do? Are they gonna buy likes for you? Are they gonna take your money and buy some Facebook likes? And Veritasium, if you watch his channel, he proved that doesn't work. So I don't really know. I mean, there are definitely good firms out there. I know of some. In fact, I talked to a guy today who said that there's one that is super selective on whether they take your project or not, and if they do, they demand a high amount of money, a high percentage, because they get results, but they only take the projects they think they can get up into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I don't know, but I did pay for a little bit of marketing, $75 worth on a podcast to get the word out, because I think it's a good podcast for me. And I'll share that link when I get it. The podcast isn't done yet. So anyway, I hope this helps. I'm going to continue to share the process, and I'm going to be interviewing Mel Milton when he launches his. We're kind of doing this thing together, so his should launch pretty soon, and I'll be interviewing him and talking about the decisions he's making. I have a real feeling that his project is going to go nuts. I think he's going to earn a lot of money, and I want to talk about that in another video too. So anyway, that's it for this video. Do not subscribe unless you want to see more stuff like this, and maybe you'll see me on my next video.